Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lauren Fix. This is the 2022 BMW R18 Classic. This is a magnificent bike, and we're going to show you this bike and the Classic that came with it. Let's get rolling. We're going to talk to a BMW Motorrad expert. He's going to tell us all about this bike. So make sure to subscribe and click that little bell because we do more than cars. We talk about bikes, we talk about first reviews, and we give you car smarts.
Lauren, this is the new R18. This is the Classic model. It was launched a year ago, and we just launched 2 additional models in August. So we could take a look at them later. But
yeah.
They say the heart of any vehicle is its engine, and this is actually the biggest engine BMW has ever put on a production motorcycle. It's a 1.8 liter, 2-cylinder, air-cooled, just like it was back in the 1920s. So there's a direct line from that 1928 R47 to the new R18. And the reason we came out with this bike is really for the US market. Probably 50% of the US motorcycle market is cruiser type of motorcycles. It's very different from the rest of the world. And it's a market that BMW was not in. We're well known for our GS dual sport adventure bikes, bikes that have done Paris-Dakar and people ride around the world, but we've not really had a motorcycle to offer to cruiser riders. And so we decided, let's build a classically styled cruiser motorcycle that would appeal to new customers that aren't BMW customers yet, but really do it in a BMW way. So that's why you see the traditional boxer air-cooled engine. On the other side, you have open nickel-plated drive shaft, just like it was in 1923.
This bike has got everything.
It has everything. So it's retro styling, but completely modern technology-wise.
Okay, so what kind of fuel economy? I'm just curious because you got a really serious motor here.
You're gonna see in the high 40s and up. As motorcycles, as the engines break in, the fuel economy will go up and up and up. And you don't have to ride it full open throttle, and that would be difficult to do because it is a big bike and it's really quick. 91 horsepower, 116 pounds of torque.
How much does it weigh?
So this weighs close to 800 pounds. It's not a lightweight bike, but because the weight is very low, so it balances very well. So people that may hear, oh, it's over 750 pounds, that's too much. But when you sit on it and you balance it, it balances so well. And as soon as you start rolling, all that weight really disappears.
But BMWs are known to have really high quality riding vehicles.
Absolutely, and it's a passion. BMW actually made motorcycles before we ever made cars. So BMW made their first motorcycle in September of 1923. So actually in a year and a half, we're going to be celebrating our 100th anniversary.
Wow.
So that's going to be a big global event. But they really know motorcycles, and there's been just decades of passion poured into motorcycles. So you just see cool and little details like these leather bags, for example.
Nice.
Just beautiful clasps, and everything is just the best quality. And that's what owning a BMW is all about. It's a bike that you can ride anywhere, but also the attention to detail is second to none.
So what about pricing? What's the price on this?
The regular R18, this is the Classic. So the Classic has the windshield and the leather bags. This starts at $19. The R18 without the bags and windshield starts at $16. So it's not that far off from a lot of motorcycles in its price range. And it goes all the way up to $24,000 with the R18 Bagger and Transcontinental, which have a new Marshall audio system, 4 or 6 speaker stereo system, digital dash, integrated navigation. It's got hard luggage, top case. The radar cruise control, just like you would find on your car. So you set a distance, you want to stay behind the car in front of you, and the radar cruise control will maintain that distance. So it just makes riding more relaxed, especially if you're doing 500-600 miles a day.
That's awesome. Can we take a look at this other car?
Absolutely. That is a really special bike. This is indeed a very cool bike. This is a 1928 BMW R47. It's actually one of the first bikes BMW had ever built. BMW started making bikes in 1923 with the R32. This came just a few years later. And this was the sport bike of its day. You could tell it actually came without a headlight. People would race these, so they would put a number plate on there. Headlight was an option. You could tell the difference from the newer bikes. The shifter was more like a car shifter, you see, so it was a lever here. You had the brakes was actually a leather band that clasped around the clutch pedal. But the cool thing with the R47 and the new R18 is that you see the lineage of where the air-cooled boxer motor came from. You have the open drive shaft. You have the beautifully, at that time it was hand-formed metal tank, black paint, the pinstriping, the BMW badges that were screwed in to the gas tank, just like the new R18. This bike made 18 horsepower. It did go over 70 miles an hour back in the day. It was one of the fastest bikes in its day, but these bikes have really become collector's items. If you look at auction prices, restored bikes can easily go over $100,000. And this bike is in our classic collection in a completely original, unrestored format as you see it right now. So it's...
And these are in the museum, anyone can see?
If they're not in a museum, we do bring them out to events. Occasionally we'll have them in a museum like the Peterson Museum in Los Angeles, but we do have a very cool collection of cars and bikes in the US, and they reside in South Carolina. And we also have some really cool classic cars here to take a look at. But it's, again, just to have this special history and be able to preserve it and show it. That's the most important thing, is to be able to bring these bikes out and show them is really what makes this job so much fun.
The first motorcycle I ever drove was a BMW, and it wasn't this one. I kind of wish it was, because this is what it's really all about. BMW started with motorcycles, and they've moved on to some pretty impressive cars. So if you want to learn more about this, you can check out BMW's Classic website and go test drive a motorcycle. Test drive a BMW, you'd be quite impressed. If you haven't ridden one, you may change your mind. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments down below. If I can't answer them, I will contact someone in BMW and get you the answer. We want to start that conversation so everyone can start learning about motorcycles. If you haven't ridden one in a long time, the experience is breathtaking. You will truly love it. And there's a lot of bikes here that we've all had a chance to drive. We thank you so much for watching. Follow me on social media on all forums at Lauren Fix. Don't forget to check out our website, Car Coach Reports, in English and Spanish. We've got people that have reviewed bikes before, people that ride these things every day. I do ride this not very often, but that's a longer story we'll have for another time. Check out our podcast, Total Car Score, available on all platforms. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.